At 1:47 in the morning, Megan Cole sent her best friend a text. In the Uber, home in 10. She was not in an Uber. The car she had just climbed into belonged to no rideshare company at all, and the man behind the wheel had been parked outside that bar, waiting for exactly this. It is the most ordinary thing in the world. You leave a bar, you open an app, you watch a little car crawl toward you on a map. A car pulls up, you get in. Millions of us do it every single night, without ever once stopping to ask the only question that matters. Megan was 23, a graduate student, warm, careful, the friend who always texted you to say she got home safe. That night she had gone out to celebrate the end of exams, and a little after 1 she decided to call it a night and ordered a ride home. Her friends watched her order it. A silver sedan 4 minutes away, a driver named Andre. They hugged her goodbye at the door and went back inside. Megan stepped out to the curb into the cold and waited under the streetlight for her car to arrive. A silver sedan pulled up almost at once. The window came down. The driver leaned over and said a name. "Megan?" She said yes, relieved, and climbed into the back seat. The car pulled away from the curb. It was the wrong car. The real Andre was still 4 minutes away. This is the trick, and it is terrifyingly simple. He did not need to know her name. He only had to wait near a bar at closing time, watch for a young woman staring at her phone, and call out the most common question a rideshare passenger ever hears. "Did you order a ride?" 4 minutes later, the real Andre arrived at the curb. He waited. He called. He texted. The passenger named Megan did not answer and did not appear. After 5 minutes, exactly as the app instructed, he marked her as a no-show and drove away to his next fare. At 1:47, Megan sent the text. In the Uber, home in 10. It was the last message she would ever send. When she did not arrive, her roommate did what any of us would do. She opened the app and saw the words that made no sense. Trip canceled. Rider no-show. By morning, Megan Cole was a missing person, and the investigation began with a contradiction no one could explain. Her phone's data said she walked out of that bar at 1:30. The rideshare company said she never got into the car she ordered. So where, between the door and the curb, had she gone? Detective Sarah Lynn was assigned the case. She started with the app, because in the modern world, that is where a person's last hour now lives. The data was precise and merciless. Megan had ordered the ride, Andre had arrived, and in the 90 seconds between, something had gone catastrophically wrong. Lynn pulled the real driver in. Andre was shaken, cooperative, and completely innocent. He had a dash cam, as many drivers now do, running the entire time. And when Lynn watched his footage, she saw the 90 seconds the entire case would turn on. On the recording, Andre pulls up to an empty curb, but parked just ahead of him, lights off, sits another silver sedan. As Andre rolls to a stop, that car suddenly pulls away, and for half a second, caught in his headlights is the back of it, a partial license plate. It was not much. 3 characters blurred at night on a cheap camera. But it was a thread, and Detective Lynn pulled it. She fed the partial plate, the make, and the color into the state database and began the slow work of narrowing thousands of silver sedans down to one. While the plate search ran, she traced the car another way. The city is full of cameras now. Traffic lights, storefronts, doorbells. Lynn requested every feed within 2 miles of that bar, and frame by frame, she followed a silver sedan as it carried Megan Cole out of the city and into the dark. The cameras tracked it onto the highway, heading north, away from Megan's apartment, away from anywhere she had any reason to go. And then, where the highway left the city and the cameras finally ran out, the silver sedan and Megan Cole vanished into a stretch of country with no eyes at all. The partial plate search came back with just over 200 matches. Lynn and her team began working through them, one by one. Most were nothing. Families, commuters, retirees. But one name, near the bottom of the list, made the detective stop. A man with a history. His name was Wesley Doyle, 41. He drove a silver sedan that matched. And 11 years earlier, in another city, he had been questioned, but never charged, in the disappearance of another young woman who had also been last seen leaving a bar at night. Doyle had never been a rideshare driver. He had no connection to Megan, none to her friends, no reason on earth to be outside that bar at 1:30 in the morning. Except one. He had learned, somewhere in 11 years, exactly how easy the trick had become. Lynn put him under surveillance. And for days, she watched an ordinary-looking man live an ordinary-looking life. Until the third night, when Wesley Doyle got into his silver sedan a little before midnight, drove slowly toward the bar district, and began, once again, to wait. They arrested him that night before he could call out to anyone. In his car, they found a second phone, a roll of tape, and a folder of screenshots, rideshare pickup spots, closing times, the patient homework of a man who had turned the most ordinary moment of modern life into a trap. But an arrest is not an answer. Megan Cole was still missing, and her family was still waiting by a phone that did not ring. Doyle said nothing. He sat in the interview room, calm, and let his lawyer do the talking, and gave the detectives precisely nothing at all. So they went back to the data. Doyle's own phone, seized in the arrest, held the location history he had never thought to erase, and it placed him, on the night Megan vanished, at the end of a logging road 40 miles north of the city for 41 minutes at 3 in the morning. Detective Lynn drove out to that road herself on a gray morning with a search team and a dog, and at the end of it, in a shallow place beneath the leaves, they found Megan Cole and finally gave a family the answer they had been begging and dreading to hear. With the recovery, the partial plate, the dash cam, the cameras, and the location data, the case against Wesley Doyle became overwhelming. Every ordinary device he had used to hunt her had, in the end, quietly recorded him doing it. And there was one thing more. The 11-year-old case, in another city, the young woman never found. Doyle's DNA, taken on his arrest, was run against the evidence from that old case. It matched. The man had not stopped. He had simply gotten better and more patient and harder to see. At trial, the prosecution showed the jury the dash cam, the empty curb, the silver sedan pulling away, the half-second of a license plate. They walked the jury through every camera, every timestamp, every piece of the digital trail an innocent young woman had left behind without ever knowing it. The defense argued the evidence was circumstantial, a blurry plate, a location, no witnesses. But there were too many threads now, and they all led to the same place. It took the jury less than a day. Wesley Doyle was convicted on every single count. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Megan Cole, and at last, for the young woman taken 11 years before, whose family had waited even longer for a name. Megan Cole was 23 years old. She did everything right. She went out with friends. She did not drink too much. She ordered a ride from a real company, on a real app, with a real driver 4 minutes away. She made exactly one small, human, ordinary mistake. She did not check the car. Her family now spends their days telling her story to anyone who will listen in schools and on screens because they have decided that if they cannot have Megan back, they will at least make her death mean something. They have a single message, and it is very simple. Before you get into that car, look at the license plate on your screen, and look at the plate on the car, and make sure they are the same. Do not say your name first. Make them say it. Ask them who they are here to pick up, and wait for them to say your name back to you. It takes 10 seconds. It feels paranoid and rude and unnecessary every single time, right up until the one time that it isn't. Megan Cole did not have those 10 seconds. She had a cold curb, a silver car, and a friendly voice that already seemed to know exactly who she was. Wesley Doyle understood something the rest of us would rather not, that the same technology that keeps us safe has quietly trained us to stop paying attention. We watch the little car on the map. We forget to watch the real one at the curb. Somewhere tonight, outside a bar at closing time, a young woman is standing under a streetlight, staring at her phone, watching a little car crawl toward her on a map. A car pulls up. The window comes down. A voice says a name. And everything now depends on whether she looks up.